Israel right now is under tremendous pressure from the United States and its allies not to return to Gaza, not to retake the Strip, and certainly not to rebuild the Jewish communities that were destroyed. It's important we keep in mind that it was the Americans, specifically George W. Bush, who forced us out of Gaza. We should definitely take any advice or pressure from President Biden with a grain of salt. When we see the Americans being this nice to us and giving so much public support to Israel, it's clear that they have an agenda. It's clear they want to twist our arm. And it's true about the Jewish people that we often respond much better to Gentile smiles than to, overt aggression. If they were just being overtly aggressive with us, we would probably stand up to them. But because we've already created a situation where our defense minister says we need their weapons, we need their planes, we can't win a war without them. So how can we say no to their requests? That's a problem. That's not independence, that's dependency. And when we think about what the goals of Jewish liberation are, what the objectives of the redemption process are in this generation, I think it's very clear that one of those objectives is for the United States to no longer influence us, for Israel to be a completely independent country that can make its own decisions and chart its own course without trying to conform its interests or its policies to a US imperial agenda. This whole doctrine, we had a military doctrine of what was called the concept, that we were going to surrender territory and manage the enemy. And this military doctrine, which was basically introduced around the time of the Oslo Accords, was a lie. It was meant to conform to the US agenda of forcing Israel to surrender territory. But in truth, the reason why so many of our leaders and so many of our generals originally saw that we needed this strategic depth to defend ourselves was because that's actually the truth. The mountains overlooking our densest population centers, even Gaza, when it's not in our hands, can be very dangerous for our people, especially in the south or in the Merkaz. It's clear that this concept was a lie and that we need to not only retake Gaza and make it part of the state of Israel, but we need to ensure that the Shomron and Yehuda, the Samaria and Judea regions, remain in our hands forever as well. Not just because of our security needs, but because it's part of our homeland, it's part of our country, and in it we and not strangers must govern.